and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host Martin Murphy, joined as ever by James and by Alan, and also our friend Gavin, who's a friend of the show. You've no doubt seen him before. Gavin MacPhee at AFC 1903. Great to see you, Gavin.
Hi guys, how we doing?
Good. Are you reporting from Pittodrie, outside of Pittodrie still? Did you get frozen in or winded in yesterday?
I mean, I would say I wish I was at Pittodrie last night. I don't know if that's actually factually correct, but no, here in Massachusetts just had some snow, so dealing with the first signs of winter.
Yeah, I feel as if we could talk about the Bee Gees for a bit then with your mention of Massachusetts, but I'll move swiftly on there, I would suggest, Gavin. So, Gavin...
Well, I think we can say our title hopes are not staying alive.
Oh, listen, I was going to go with Gone with the Wind and all that sort of stuff there. Like, you get in really well, mate.
Yeah.
Tremendous. No, listen, really, thanks so much again for coming on, because I know that you're ready for a quick getaway in the car there if it turns nasty. I can see it, but in all honesty, thanks so much. I appreciate your time coming on and your thoughts on what was a really big match, the top two in Scottish football last night. Pretty dramatic game. Wondered what your thoughts were on it in terms of generally the Aberdeen performance. Incidentally, a really interesting piece on your AFC 1903. Dylan Thomas and all sorts of things on it. And you were talking about how you would hope the game would go. Obviously, the result didn't go the right way, but what did you think of the Aberdeen performance last night?
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that's a bit kind of meh about it, but I think, in the grand scheme of things, given what, obviously this, particularly the last game that we've been through, given the conditions, which were pretty atrocious, I think it's probably, obviously a point or a win would have been great, but I think in terms of what we did, I don't really have any, major issues with it. I would have liked us to have played a bit more football when we had the ball. Again, as I said, the conditions there were perhaps a factor there. And, there's also part of me thinking maybe he didn't want us to have too much of the ball, given how we were ripped apart and some of the transitions at Hampden. And then, if you look at it, we took the game into the last 15 minutes. We had a couple of sniffs one before you scored and one after. You think in terms of your data, I've seen different numbers, but it was probably within that kind of variance level, I think, which none of the other games have, the other two certainly haven't been. So, and then, last time I think you talked about the lessons, maybe that he maybe took the wrong lessons from the first game. I think he probably took the right lessons this time, and he certainly made it harder. So all in all, obviously it would have been great to keep things going and keep, live to fight another day. But, in terms of how they performed, I think we've got to be fairly happy with that.
An awful lot of injuries as well to cope with, and this is one of the things when you were on previously we were talking about in terms of a title challenge, the size of a squad and the quality of a squad does come into it. Although I do think that the Aberdeen performance last night indicated that, there's some guys coming in and capable of doing a good job, and it was certainly a tough match for us in all sorts of respects, and delighted for Celtic to get out with a victory there. Alan, what were your thoughts and any points you'd like to raise with Gavin?
Yeah, I was kind of hopeful for Celtic, with Mitov being injured, because he's been such a huge part of Aberdeen's success, really, and even Mackenzie. But actually, because McGarry had a bit of a spotty game against Hearts, from my perspective, anyway. But actually, Celtic didn't win because McGarry and Doohan were playing. Absolutely not. In fact, I think both of them had pretty good games overall. So I don't think that was a factor. But I was just fascinated. It seemed like the first 5 minutes I was getting really excited because Aberdeen looked like they were just going to go mental and press like full court for the whole game. And I was thinking, yes, this is going to be good. But then that stopped. And it was kind of after the Doohan injury, and maybe I don't know whether that was just coincidence or a factor. And then they sat back in this mid-block 4-3-3, And then I was kind of put in the mind of, I was thinking a bit sort of Craig Levein, because it looked like a bit of a 4-6, because it was kind of pretty solid on that halfway line.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were, they just didn't want to really move out of that shape. But Celtic kind of did what they did against Hearts, which is sort of like go on then, we'll just sit here, and we're not. And what I think I was pleased about from Celtic's perspective was we didn't fall into many of your pressing traps. It happened once that I remember in the first half. Alistair Johnston got caught on the right wing. He got tackled, and then McGarry broke really quickly. And then I think he butchered the ball across. Which playing any ball across the pitch was a nightmare in that wind. Right, it was just almost impossible. But I mean, so I suppose did you? I guess from my point of view, I would be thinking, as an Aberdeen fan, like you said, if you're not going to have necessarily the best players, you at least want your manager to demonstrate that he's learned his lesson. And it looked to me as if, like you said, that that he had actually learned his lesson, and that he wasn't going to try and be too optimistic, too ambitious.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options, and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.